At the start of every anime season, I usually look at the scheduled releases to decide what upcoming shows that I'll be watching. Usually there are a few seasonals to look forward to, a manga adaptation that I'm excited for, and a continuation of a show that I already started. Occasionally, something will sneak past you. Hell, it might even sneak past most anime fans. A show that you're shocked no one's talking about, but it's so special that you almost want to gatekeep it, so that you can say, yeah, I watched it before it was cool. Today, we're going to be talking about just that show, and its name is Ninja Kamui. In a story centered around revenge, Ninja Kamui takes place in a world much like ours. Well, if our world had better technology and ninjutsu-wielding samurai. With technology being such a large part of the universe, it's no wonder that it developed to being weaponized. Please, Elon, this is a warning, it's not too late to go back. Our story follows a ninja by the name of... Wait. What did he just say his name was? Okay, so Joe Rogan is not only a ninja, but he is the ninja. After retiring for quite some time, Mr. Rogan resolves to a peaceful life in hiding with his family. And if you've watched any piece of media ever, you know this isn't gonna work out. After a few unfortunate mishaps, he embarks on a grand tale of revenge, seeking out the secret force who brought harm to him and his family. Look, this is just anime John Wick, but I'm here for it. When I say that Ninja Kamui has some of the best choreographed fights that I've seen in years, I'm underselling it. With mesmerizing and fluid fights, the choreography leaves you with your jaw on the floor right from the opening sequence. With a perfect mix of blade work, hand-to-hand combat, and even some Naruto-like magic, you expect this show to be making waves. I never would have even heard of it if it wasn't for some random X video that I saw. And Mom, if you're watching, I swear that's just Twitter's new name. Don't look at my browser history. Despite originally sneaking into my anime list top 100, you would think that you would have heard of Ninja Kamui by now. And the reasoning that you haven't is a little crazy. Typically when a seasonal anime airs, they end up on either Crunchyroll, Netflix, or sometimes even Disney+. But in this case, Ninja Kamui is on Adult Swim and Max, both of which are seemingly inaccessible to anyone outside of America. Look, I'm not sponsored by NordVPN, so I had to look elsewhere. Now, when a show's legally hard to obtain, you can usually find it with unsavory methods. As a law-abiding citizen, I would never. So I had a friend look for me, and it took him jumping between multiple websites to even find an episode of the show. Now, after a few weeks have passed, it's a bit easier to find, but missing out on the initial hype for launch definitely hurt its momentum. Now, if you were anything like me after I saw that X video, you're probably wondering what makes this show so good, despite it being so unknown. The first thing I did when I heard about it was head on over to Wiki to see what studio was behind the show. And at first glance, it's a little bit lackluster. This is the first show that the animation studio, ENH Production, has taken on. Well, other than an upcoming project called Red Cat Ramen. Okay, forget about Frieren, Jujutsu Kaisen, and everything else that aired. Red Cat Ramen, this is peak. This is the anime of the year. Here's the thing though, this new studio was actually founded by one of the GOATs, Sunghoo Park. Don't recognize the name? Well, have you ever seen Jujutsu Kaisen? How about God of Highschool? Yeah, those shows are him. And what do those shows have in common? Some of the best fights in anime. Now look, don't get me wrong, God of Highschool was a hot piece of ass, but the fights, absolutely banging. Park knows how to make fights feel heavy and realistic, despite powers and all the crazy things that are going on. Any show is in good hands when they're Park's hands. The story is the focal point of the show, but they still spend a majority of their time looking at the action sequences, the world building, and they really shine in comparison to everything else. Ninja Kamui knows where it excels, and it takes pride in it. Not only do the fights have insane choreography, but as I mentioned, they also have sick ninjutsu. No, seriously, here we have my man turning himself into the best Star Wars character. Okay, wait, second best Star Wars character. I forgot about Jar Jar Binks, my bad. Here, we take some needles out of our hands, and we turn into my dad after 3 beers. And finally, this man randomly became a Uchiha and starts using Fireball Jutsu. The combination of beautifully animated fights with super sick ninjutsu makes it feel like even the most random characters can pull off something epic. We have bad guys pop up and die within a couple minutes, and they were still cooler than most shonen villains. Now look, I would be remiss to not talk about the bad notes of the show. At this time, there's only a couple episodes out, so if it ends terribly and becomes a dumpster fire, it's not my fault. Family gets attacked, insane ninja seeks out revenge, Bezos pulling the strings in the shadows. We've seen it a million times. I'm a sucker for these types of stories though, as they don't ask you to think too much. You know what you're getting into, and just like God of Highschool, you can literally not give a shit about the plot and just enjoy the fights. Sometimes less is more, and that is also true for plots. Not every show needs insane plot twists or has to reinvent the wheel. There's nothing wrong with wanting to watch people stab each other and not think about much else. As long as we're still talking about anime here, just for any FBI agents watching. On top of being stuck in Adult Swim prison, the show also has a rather unfortunate dub.
Really, officer? The bigwigs feature that line?
The Japanese voiceover features an iconic voice with Kenjiro Suda, or also known as Nanami. I know anime aren't known for their stellar dubs, but come on man, this is airing on TV. On top of this, it's also really hard to find out when the show is airing. At first I thought this was a me problem, but it seems Adult Swim also doesn't really know. They advertise the show is airing Saturday at midnight, which to most people would mean Saturday at midnight. But it seems the show tends to air Sunday at some point in the morning, and I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like Saturday at midnight to me. Every show has its flaws, and when the majority of them are from the publisher, it tends to be a good sign in the show itself. If you're into action, ninjas, or even Jujutsu Kaisen, I really do suggest checking out Ninja Kamui. The show is hype, and even the opening sequence is memorable. If you go in just looking to have a good time, I really think you'll find it here. It's not always that we get to witness the birth of a cult classic, but with Ninja Kamui, we're still kind of early. This is going to be a show that people keep talking about for a while, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it win an award for its combat sequences. So go ahead, grab your I was here early cards and come back to this video when the show is mentioned at the Crunchyroll Awards in 2024. Hey, you made it all the way through. If you enjoyed the video, I really appreciate you for watching it, so you should check out this one right here. YouTube thinks that you'll like it, and the algorithm probably knows you more than you do. You can go now. No, seriously, it's kind of getting awkward. Can you please just click the video, man?